MGR has stealth. I'm not jerking. Or I can't explain why there are boxes in this game. Unrealistic. Unfair. Illogical. Broken.
I love this shit!
This video exists for the same reason as the S-rank video in God of War 3.
Let you cook. Never let bro cook again.
The announcement and explanation for the challenge. My challenge is to complete all the stealth encounters in MGR's main company. In this video, I want to explain the necessary conditions before starting them and sort them out as I understand it. If I don't understand something, gently correct me in the comments.
You are?
Yeah.
You stupid
But first we'll talk about the rules. The rules for this challenge are trivial. Videos must be recorded on Revengeance difficulty, all enemies must be killed using ninja kills, except sliders, dwarf geckos and grads because they don't have this feature. If someone makes a mod that adds the previously mentioned feature, this mod will become a must-have for this challenge. Blade mode walking and cancelling are not allowed, the exception is ninja kill cancel. Just like all other speedrun tactics such as bunny hopping, using lightning strike and falling lightning, and, as I call it, dash. When you press a light attack and aim a left stick or WASD at an enemy who's at a distance from Raiden, because then the difficulty of some of all segments will increase, which no one wants. Buying and using Commando Inferno and Desperado bodies and mariachi uniform, etc. Bunny hops are allowed only when necessary, for example if you jump off chasms and you need to step up. Commando and Inferno bodies are not allowed due to the fact that their purchase not only increases the storage size of grenades rocket launchers, but also replenishes these bonus sub-weapons. Obviously, you can't use an endless wig either, because it's just
pussy
way.
Sorry.
You can use the Fox Blade, but you can't use its ability to cut enemies in one hit. What can't be used is Wooden Sword, since it can't cut objects, but who's going to use it anyway?
Nobody cares. Let's go.
It is allowed to have a full set of sub-weapons from the very beginning, but you're not allowed to use them until you find them in the game. Using exploit with saves or customization menu is not allowed to increase the number of sub-weapons again. No mods are allowed except those that do not affect gameplay and are needed for other mods, such as Unlimiter, and those that reduce the size of the game on storage, such as Cutscene Less, No Noise Filter and Bloom Shader and other similar mods, and mods that remove slowdowns during ninja kills, doing the same as in the 2012 E3 trailer. For convenience, you need to restart encounter from the checkpoint, because you will restart it several times, trust me. Plus no one wants to come up with tactics without restarting. The exceptions are encounters which are shown on the screen because they have multiple checkpoints. Last but not least, no alerts. But cautions are allowed. The exception is the last encounter of R03, because there is an invisible wall that activates the alert automatically. And this encounter for the same reason. And these are all the rules that came to my mind. And also you can go through even naked and evolved, even fully upgraded. Now we are moving on to what encounters require in addition to skill. The most basic thing is knowing the location of the tools that make stealth the way I showed it. You can see this in my video. The most necessary tools in stealth are obviously, the red phosphorus grenade and a cardboard box, but sometimes rocket launchers are needed in order to kill enemies who don't have the ninja kill function, except grad, and standard grenades as a distraction for opponents. It is important to note that you should use one rocket launcher, because if you have several missiles, there will be a slower animation in aiming mode. The exceptions may be those encounters in which you need to use rocket launchers several times. Also, with the aiming mode, Raiden doesn't aim where he is looking, but where the camera is pointing, which is why you can aim with the camera or lock on before pressing the trigger. Interesting fact. The animation of when Raiden removes a box or a can, has stealth iframes, when the enemies still do not see you during these frames. Also this animation can be cancelled with Ninja Kill, and it is allowed. Oh, and 3D photo frames, but they are so rare that I would recommend using them in the same very rare cases. Plus, they only work on human enemies, they don't work on gears. We will talk about other interesting AI features in the next topic. The next topic in this video, as I said, is the artificial intelligence of the opponents. They don't have one.
Coming up next.
Okay, not artificial intelligence, but I can tell you some patterns of different enemies. Let's start with humanoid enemies. Now, what do I mean by the term humanoid enemies? These are regular soldiers, armored soldiers and heavyweights. In combat encounters they are completely different enemies, but in stealth they are identical, even probably using the same animations. I divide them into walking and standing ones. So if you are in caution mode, some enemies will approach the place of suspicion, and some will stand and look around. This caution can play a cruel joke on your tries because it's impossible to predict which way the soldier will look. And also in this state it is impossible to make a ninja kill, maybe. You can only predict which enemy will stand at caution and which one will follow you if you have passed this encounter before and already know about the enemies. Just like Mastiffs, soldiers do not have limitless vision, so I even saved the smoke grenade knowing about this. But one question remains open. For some reason, some enemies will notice you if you run up to them right away, but if you stop, they won't notice you. And I don't know the reason for this.
Anyway,
Next on the enemy list are soldiers on gliders. The tactics are the same with them. Homing missile or rocket launcher, depending on what you have, but I recommend homing missile for these enemies for convenience. But what happens after the glider explodes? He's going to run like crazy because the developers made the route with only a glider. Without a glider it breaks down. It's good that the routes are the same and not random. Although their route may vary depending on when you blew up the slider, before it almost arrived or after. How do you visually understand that it has already arrived? I don't know. Also, it's important to know about this enemy that before this idiot starts running, if you throw a 3D photo frame it will attract him. But if he has already started running, he won't care about the 3D photo frame. Next up are the strangest stealth enemies, Gekkos. They react only when they are within the range of a smoke grenade, only changes the status on the minimap, and after the cooldown they spin and resume their route, unlike the Mastiffs. I don't really know how they work, one of the most obscure types of enemies, and they are rare, so let's move on to the next type. Mastiffs are the most broken enemies. If you knock them off the route, the rest of their route will break. You can do it with a smoke grenade at any time. With a standard grenade rocket launcher homing missile, you can do this only when they are standing. But if you throw a smoke grenade next to them, they will start looking around, and it is unclear when it will be possible to kill it in these carousels. If you run next to them, they will notice you, and only from the Mastiff you can get your first smoke grenade. But, as mentioned earlier, you can kill a Mastiff if you run up when he is looking in the opposite direction. The first encounter of R04 is a great example of this. I have nothing to say about Водомерки, as they appear only once for the entire main company. Now we move on to the category of unkillable enemies. That means that Raiden can't kill them with ninja kill, only with rockets or with his sword. These are the enemies that you don't have to kill in this challenge at this moment, and you can just pass by. That's all I show in this video. I also wanted to rate all the encounters in terms of complexity and analyze their execution in detail, and if you want I can do it as a separate video. Thanks for watching. You can redirect where you want to throw the grenade if you press the trigger.
shit!